Okay. Comment?
Yeah, we were talking about.
You were talking about.
I was complaining about, being around people, which is really nothing to complain about except that.
It is nothing to complain about, except that you're complaining about it.
Well, the issue I was bringing up was being around people, dealing with people. People's stuff comes in. People's karma, permeates.
People are their karma. Everybody is karma. And people need karma. People live karma, they chew karma, they drink karma, they crap karma, they look at karma, they hear karma, they smell karma, they feel karma. See? That's all there is. We can say we are in an ocean of karma. It's a great ocean of karma. But what sense do you make of it? Is it sufficient to say you're happy being in the ocean of karma? And you're free enough being in the ocean of karma? Or is there something else? In other words, what's wrong with being in the ocean of karma? If it's your place, if it's your life practice, Now, is there a problem with being in the ocean of karma as a life practice?
Being here and sensing a certain freedom from karma, or an unfolding freedom from certain patterns, makes me realize that, yes, perhaps there is. Makes me wonder. Or no.
Making a distinction between the ocean of karma and the possibility of practice beyond that. There is a possibility of practicing being beyond that. Yeah. Is it necessary to be beyond that? That's the real question. Are you here today because you want to be beyond that, or because you want to be free to indulge that? Because you're already that, free to indulge it to no end.
Yeah,
you're already doing a good job with it. Well, it's doing a good job with you. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, it's...
Why change it? Do you need to change it is the question. Yeah. And if you change it, actually what happens? So what's the good to that? What's good about it? Changing it. Can you change it? What do you see here that's different from all of that? Comment.
Yeah. Peace. And a certain sense of reality beyond noise and confusion.
Is that it? Is that what it is?
I think it's one way.
Which is to question, is it like there's peace here and not peace over there? Is that possible that there's peace here, not over there, wherever there is, and whatever that is? See? Question is then, what is peace if it's a location or subject to location? Who are you if you're not peace? What are you if you're not peace? Whatever peace is then. Come on. Right. As far as the world is concerned, who wants peace? Who likes peace? What good is peace in this world? What place is there for peace in this world? Are people talking about peace? Like they need peace? They want peace? Are people out here making peace the real need? Real thing, the real issue? Good question. Who needs it? Who is peace? Who can afford to be peaceful? Who can afford to be without peace? What kind of difference would peace make in your life if you had it, if you knew what it was? Would it be good for your head? Would it be good for your emotions? Would it be good for your memories? Maybe it would be good for your perceptions. Could it be good for your actions? Could it be useful to your understanding of what's going on in your case? Your real question is to be or not to be victimized by the karmas of other beings. So that subject of service doesn't really enter into it. It's not about service. Okay. There is no service. It's just entanglement. You have to free yourself from the entanglement. So if there was such a thing as enlightenment, then from that place, then we can say there could be service. The rest of it's just business. It's no service, it's just business. Having to do this for what? Business. For money, for favors, for self, for others. So business. That's all it is. The world of business. If it serves who? If it serves what? It's business. You have a question on that one? Since you asked it?
It does seem the further down this path I feel like I've come.
Further down this path? It's a down path?
Up.
I don't think it's a down path. I don't know if it's going up or down.
Yeah.
I don't know in what direction it's moving, actually.
Sure. So, if such a path even exists, and walking it happens, and
But let's call it the burn path,
yeah,
for lack of a better terminology that is actually descriptive of what the process is. It's a
Yeah.
burn path. I mean, it's letting go. So hearing to let go is what it is. And it is said in the teachings of the masters that the quicker a person can hear to let go, the more advanced they are. Don't know if that's true or not. But I'm sure in your circles, you've heard it's good to let go on the spot. See? Yeah. Who can do that? See? Why would anyone want to let go on the spot? And lose all their entanglements and all their suffering, anguish and suffering on all levels, inner, outer suffering, family suffering, social suffering, occupational suffering. Who wants to let go of any of that? Who's able to do that? Who would even think of that in this world of only suffering and attachment and confusion, self-conflict, self-division, and so on. Warfare. You want to give up the party of all of that? Misery. Or maybe human existence. Who can do that? Who can turn their back on that? Who should turn their back on that? It's a good question. Well, who wants to face it? Who needs to face it for what it is? Good question.
what does facing it entail?
What do you think? You're doing it all the time. It's all you talk about.
Is there a sacred facing it?
If it's all you talk about, then you need to know what it is. If it's your question, why is it your question? And perhaps in the penetrating of the question, why you're facing all the misery and reflecting it, making it an issue, you might have an insight beyond that. What is the insight beyond that in this moment? Yeah, it doesn't exist. And from a certain level, none of the suffering exists. There's no suffering. There's nothing. At a certain level. It's always here and already gone. At its own level. When that is the case under all circumstances, all conditions, then there's peace. It's all that's left, is nothing. The peace of nothingness. Not of negative emptiness, no, it's the peace of the nothingness that is fullness. Just fullness. Yeah. Super okayness. So what is useful about the music? Yeah. Anami music, let's say.
Like what makes it in my experience unique is that it's sort of a a living demonstration of can't understand it, can't learn it, not material. not graspable. And that, I think, is what caused my initial conflicts with actually enjoying the music. Having 7 years of music school created quite a bit of kind of mechanical stuff for it to be filtered through, and it just, they were incompatible.
Oh, it's just school. What you're talking about is just school.
Yeah.
See, you get the theory in school. When life becomes a school, then you go way beyond theory. You can't even figure it out because you have to deal with it. It's a demand to be present. See? A demand to be here. That's what the music does. It demands that you be here. Yeah. Nowhere else. It's not about anywhere else. It's not about anything else or anyone else but here. So in that way, it's not very different from what people call Zen, Chan. Only here. Only now. Whatever that means. Only this. Only so-ness. So. What of it? See? And not easy to fall into playing music from that place unless it's established as your way of life. If it's your way of life, then that's the only way you play. So there is to play. And then you question whether or not you're even playing it. If it's all there is, then you're not even playing it. No one's playing it. Which is the real point of the whole thing. The Dharma. Go beyond doing anything. And it all gets done. It's a paradox, mystery. It's a big question and the answer all in one. The big no question. The big yes question. Together. Question?
In ugly is ugliest, you mentioned that even just sitting is beautiful music.
Yeah, it depends on who's sitting. And it depends on what beautiful music is. The words are not enough. They serve two purposes, a dual purpose. Functioning as mirror, to show you what you need to get beyond, and functioning as a window, so that you can see what it is that the beyond is. To see into beyondness. None of your girlfriends would be interested in any of this, by the way. Or your family members. This is from another time and space, so to speak. The deep here and now. And that's what we need to be prepared to deal with. The deep here and now. Not the social here and now, the casual here and now. The blah, blah, blah here and now. But the deep here and now. See? The emergent here and now. See? The real here and now, the true here and now. The only here and now. So the beauty of practice is to collapse all the noise. It's a silent point. Maybe a stillness. Like, as soon as the two fingers meet, you hear it. As soon as the hands meet, you hear it. For those who need the gesture, For those who need to see it in some form, see, to recognize it for what it is, which is so subtle it's nothing. It's super subtle. How are you going to pay attention to the super subtle when you're involved in the noise of the super gross? And only that as your reality or your chosen pleasure. Your pleasures. How important are your pleasures? When you're neither true, real, or here. In fact, they are distractions. And maybe sacredly so, because without a distraction, right? Would you be interested in being distractionless? So the burn technology as practice here, or as so-called here, it's about hearing so well what you're talking about is gone. What you've heard of yourself is gone. Yeah. And this goes to the realization of the possibility of enlightened wisdom and what is called transcendent reality, which is never anywhere else but here. It's always here. It's only here. We're not open to it. If you talk about openness, then we're talking about radical openness to what it is and only what it is. In terms of the native fact of what it is. No one cares about it, ordinarily. But karmic circumstances can reach such a pitch where you start to think about it because everything else seems to be failing for you. You think about it. And what else is there? Oh my God, what have I done? What's going on? See? What has happened? You stop for a moment, you open just a little peep to the light itself, a reality. As if it's waiting for you to question it. As if it cares about your question. Doesn't care. You have to care. It's important that the individual cares, to open to what it could be for themselves. See? Beyond themselves, their suffering, their blood karma, see? The instincts, the emotions, the unconscious reactions, see? The confusion, suffering, the inner fighting, the many voices, see? The many doubts, the human nature. Where to go, who to turn to. What's the real? Where's the God everyone's talking about? Where is it? Who is it? Is it 2,000 years ago? Is it 2,000 years coming? Is it here, but not here? Has it ever been? Will it ever be? Who is it if it's not you? If you would consider yourself real, who is it if it's not the real? Whatever you are or not. Maybe you are not real. That's your problem, or maybe your solution. Right?
In one of your teachings, Bapu, you spoke of the body as a temple and through practice resonating that temple as a grace-giving, peace-generating, crystal singing bowl.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Very high-minded thought, idealistic. It may be true. Maybe true.
So
Potential, true to potential.
the question then is, that is a kind of resonance that one can feel through chanting, that one is perhaps moving toward. But all of that as experience or as feeling seems to be on another level, and perhaps a less subtle level than what you were just speaking of in terms of the Zen, the collapse, the ultra subtle. And so my question is, what is the relationship between that almost ultimate kind of...
There's no relationship. So, in fact, there's no relationship to anything. Collapse. Poof. Gone. No relationship. Period. Gone. And it's not about chanting. It's about being and breathing it. If that's your chanting, so be it. We're talking about the continuum then. If chanting is the continuum, then chanting is the continuum. If thinking is a continuum, then thinking is a continuum. Everything is a continuum. See? And so we're talking about the effect of the continuum and then the cause of the continuum. The fact of the continuum. And who can be that? Who's willing to be that without the distractions of women and their sex and the men and their sex and their emotional intrigues and drama and all of this so-called circus of human personality exchanging and mixing, as if the result of that is useful. Yeah, it's just a search. All of that melodrama is a search. It means going around in circles, a carousel. Up and down and around and around, up and down and around and around, up and down and around and around and up and down and around and around. See? Nowhere. Yeah. A vicious cycle of human drama, karma. For some, it's trauma. Yeah. For others, nothing as such exists. Done. Or is he already gone? No interest. Done. Dead. Buried. Gone beyond. Or is it not negative? Gone beyond means, voila. So this is it. The paradox of this is it and already gone beyond. Happy to meet you. Happy to see you go. Also happy to understand everything you're suffering, that you cling to. Your problem. Don't need to eat it. Don't need to drink it. I don't need to make it my own problem. That won't help you. It won't help me. It won't help anybody. So, gone beyond. Peace. Already gone beyond is peace. Beyond conditions. Okay. Beyond agreements and arrangements is peace. Beyond conversation. Beyond romance. Yeah. Beyond entanglements. Yeah. Beyond self-amusement and self-amazement. Oh my God! Wow! I'm so amazed! It's her! It's him! So amazed at people. Right. As at people, some reality, yeah. Exactly. Hello. Heart is the universe. No apologies for that. Yeah. No exceptions to it. The universe is the heart. Thank you. Good, yeah. It's not about other beings. There's a phrase that's used about other beings, and it is specific to the science of awakening, that all beings have to be awakened as a commitment. It's impossible, in a sense, but it's also the fact all beings are already awakened. At what level? In what way? All beings are already awakened. Peace. All beings are already awakening. Also peace. There are no all beings. Perfect peace. There are no other beings. There are no relations. It's zero. Not even zero. Thank you.
So in response to your suggestion.
The proposal is based upon the realization that the heart is the universe is the heart. Now say your point. In the light that it's the heart, which is the universe, and the universe is the heart, make your point. The entire universe is the heart, and the heart is the entire universe. Now make your point. If you can.
Well,
yeah, go ahead, please.
I'll give it a try. Certain people have a strongly negative reaction.
Children are afraid. Only children are afraid of the universe. Only children. Only babies. Only babies are afraid of the universe. Only babies don't understand the nature of the heart. In the dharmas of the world, that means they need instruction. They need teaching. They need wisdom. They need discipline, perhaps. They need training, for sure. See? But that's for children. A similar question at the musical level in my case. How can you play so many notes? Not too many notes, man. For who? I said, I'm not playing enough notes. What are you talking about? I don't have enough fingers to play the notes. See? But for the young, everything is too much for the young. For the old, it's not enough. Not enough. Therefore, it's enlighten all beings. It's like gone. All beings who haven't been, who were, and beyond. Zero. Just zero. There are no all beings. Because there are all beings, there are none. Because the universe is the heart is the universe. Paradox. Enjoy the paradox. It's very instructive, very liberating. Yeah. Mm-hmm. 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 Most people are in the search mode. See? We're seeking, reasoning, see? Justifying, qualifying, quantifying, see? Rationalizing. See? There's something real in that. There is something self-satisfying of it, self-gratifying. Oh, I have a reason for it. Okay, that's good enough for me. I need reasoning. I need to hear something I can take like a bone home and just put it in my closet till I'm ready to go chew on it. See if it'll take care of my need to know something. See? And there's nothing to know. Yeah. At this level, there's nothing to know. You can fill your head up with all kinds of information and theories about music and science, and the truth of it is there's nothing to know. What it is beyond knowing. The truth of it is beyond knowing. You're not willing to be what it is. So you have to demonstrate your attachments to things and concerns about things. And your questions about things, because you refuse to be the knower of anything. You don't want to know, that's why you question. You like questioning, that's your game. And skepticism is also a joyous preoccupation with, your own idea of salvation. And even that's gone. It's just here. Yeah, the basic fact of the heart is the universe is a heart. Always here, already gone. It's like unbearable. It's too much. Because nothing follows that. Nothing can keep up with that. And only nothing.
Is the questioner itself a program?
Is the
Questioner.
Yeah. What about it? Is there a questioner? No, of course there's never been a questioner. A real questioner. See? There's never been a real question. Because when we consider, let's say, Einstein, he just didn't know. He wanted to know the mind of God. See? He just didn't know. There's always something eluding him. Right? It's the ultimate okayness. Okay? Realization. There's nothing to know. And that's not a negative. That's a ultimate positive. That is the Supreme Being. That is Supreme Beingness. That's what it is. Each one of us. Everything has the nothing of the Supreme Being. That means the infiniteness of itself. Don't think about it. Just know it. Know it to let it go. Let it be. So it is. So why be interested in being less than what it is? Being less than who it is. See, for itself.
So my musical background has a lot of years of academia in it. And
What does that mean, academia?
study, attempting to understand, believing in that. And the music here is...
We are talking about musical training, rudiments, fundamentals, how to play music, how to play a certain type of music, and experiments to this or that level of effect relative to what it is you're talking about as a musical expression.
So,
Yeah.
Studying with people in the field, exploring established theory, exploring the practice of composition and electronic music and all of these different things where people are proposing that there are correct ways to do it and important things to have heard. And that referential work is kind of the paradigm. And hear that...
It's like the standard.
Yeah.
That's the standard, right? That is then, for many, the foundation upon which they might build a musical career. See, I'm not sure that's good. I'm not sure it's bad, but I'm not sure that's good. See? Yeah. Proceed, please.
Yeah, and hear that particularly... Well, actually, all of that exists, if at all, in a very different way here for a very different function. The language of jazz, where you play it, chord progressions, forms, things like that, exist. You play them, but to express nothing, to express the Dharma, to use, the language here. And for me, approaching that was a challenge because of my kind of very saturated background mentally when it comes to music. It took a long time to realize the reason that I wasn't connecting with the music was because I was trying to connect mentally. I was trying to align my ideas and expectations with what was going on here, which was the cessation of such things.
The non-existence of anything like that. There's no relationship to it. Yeah, this is more native, born. This is born. That's the difference. When a certain kind of process is born, and particularly in this case, and a native process at that, born of, let's say, drum culture, and everything's going to be different. Yeah. That's a whole different basis. The heart is the universe. The beat is the universe. Yeah. So the power then is with the drummer who's native, who's born that way. The power is there. If there's any degree of liberation in the mind and expansion and intelligence and openness, then that's a powerful being. And as it is, as we know, native cultures, the chief who's a drummer is powerful. And that's because music then is the potential of this kind of power. Sound, beat. The heart is the universe. The universe is the heart. See? In other words, it's a primordial fact of everything that is superstructured over it. For better, for worse, for validity, or invalidation completely, radically. So to be born of that kind of primordial instinct, understanding that the heart is the universe, especially as a child, it gives you a completely different take on things. It's not about music. As such. It's about hearing beyond hearing music. Because then that's what the pattern of the rhythm offers. Let's say the shaman, the magician, or the master. See? Different vibrational matrices to work from. That can affect future. I mean, they go forward and they go backwards. Patterns of time, patterns of space, use of time, more space, energy, strength, power, manifestation, power, physical intensity, and matter, different structures, different concrete forms, and maybe regulated. And then the polymixing of these things, which has to do then with something more than just a basic need. It's to do with the unconscious. And the unconscious has to deal with what we have to call genius. It has no limits. It doesn't know any limits. It says, so what? Who cares about anything? It is what it is. All possibilities. It's higher consciousness. Maybe some would say that's in the direction of the superconscious. So then you have that. You have, let's say, a relatively living example of a superconscious understanding of music, let's say. Apart from the classical, let's say, stream of it, say, which is an intellectual stream of what it is, and figuring things out, and that's not altogether native. So you have many instances in the history of music where, in the words of composers, famous geniuses, say they have to go to the natives to learn certain things, have to go back to the primitives to see it at its source, to hear the songs from the babes, from the children. See, it's like going straight to the flowers and getting the fragrances from the flowers. See? Come back to the origins. And then they go back to their intellectual hierarchy of composition or sound creation, and then integrate various aspects of whatever they find is useful in terms of folk forms. So in other words, we need to go to the origin, it's not the school. The origin is the heart, breathing, all the time. Right? Always here, already gone. The heart is the universe. The universe is the heart. Realization. Not a big deal. It's like, so what? Already know that, right? Everybody knows that. Not everybody's being it. So, that's the difference. And so from there, then it's easy for all this to come up by itself, because there's nothing standing in the way of it. And that's what is disturbing to the ego and the intellectual side of the ego. It's like saying, how can that be? Why can't I do that? Why is he doing it and not I? My educated, sophisticated, intellectual, very super cerebral, big brain self can't do that. Exactly. For obvious reasons. Exactly. Right. It's too basic. The heart of the universe is a revelation of the nature of the heart. And the universe is a revelation of the manifestation of the heart. You know, one is boom and the other katak, katak, katak. And the other splash. People take notice when it's a boom. A big boom. Bada boom, right? Right. Let me take notice when it's thunderous. Right. Yeah. But the native doesn't care about that. See, the native is not wanting visibility. The native doesn't care if you see it or not. The native's not interested in the showcase. Nature is the showcase. The reality is the universe is the showcase. Already. Perfect. Coming. So I have drum genes from my father's side and guitar genes from my mother's side. And I understand some guitar genes on my father's side as well, mostly drum genes. So that's good if you can use it. If you can't use it, then it uses you, and who knows what way it's going to use you. So it's better that you use it from a higher place if you have a higher place to use it from.
Yeah, the way that you share the Dharma with people also, when I showed up, was very much in conflict with my background relative to that, which is Buddhist and native, but mostly Buddhist in terms of my, mental baggage.
School.
Yeah.
There's a school of Buddhism. There's many schools. But Buddha nature is not schools.
Yeah.
Right? Buddha nature doesn't exist. There's no Buddha nature. The Buddha nature that is no Buddha nature is the true Buddha nature, baby. Always here, already gone. Yeah. See, the music that I play has the appearance of concreteness, compositionally speaking. It's not what it is. No. It can take any form. It's not about composition. It's about decomposition and recomposition. See, it's about the Tao. See, what shape and form is the Tao? See, what appearance is the Tao? It is what it is. It's beyond appearance. All appearance, no appearance. Thus, its soulness. It's already gone. No appearance. It's appearing to disappear. It's disappearing to reappear. Such as it is. Already gone. And always here. See? It's basic. So the unconscious then has to be tapped into in order for this to be realized as such. See? And what that might be for the individual. Most people are afraid of it. They see the unconscious as a demonic kind of thing. See, too much of everything, perhaps. See? Not so. It's human fear. It's not the unconscious. The unconscious as the source of human fear, that's real because of past experience. And nature, right, which eats itself, destroys itself, so it appears. It creates and recreates. That's Mother Nature. Beyond that you have something other. Light, see? Supernature. Transcendent nature. Light and clear light. What about that? Yeah.
I was just saying that it feels finally like my insistence on not knowing, my insistence on kind of pursuing the questions is like cornered. It's panicking.
Here?
It's freaking out, yeah. And
You mean being roasted alive? Roto-broiled.
yeah, like, well, once that's gone, what then? Which is kind of amusing, but also a little scary. And yeah, it's interesting that despite all of the training from all of the different backgrounds relating to what's going on here, here I am.
Well, why are you here then? Yeah, why are you here after all of the grand influences you've been subject to? And glorious influences. Why would you wind up here?
Yeah. Here is direct.
Yeah. So are you saying then you find the music direct with what you're hearing? In language, yeah?
Yeah, they're different languages to describe the same thing.
Are you saying then that realization can be equally discerned by the music?
Yeah, obviously.
No, sorry, you know that because you're into both, right?
Yeah.
Right. Philosophic and say, theologic practice, right? And into music discipline. So you can hear and feel both, right? You can see them. A lot of intellectuals don't make the connection. They hear the music, and they say, "Oh, it's just out. It's crazy music. It's wonderful. It's great," but there's no realization involved. They don't have that kind of circuitry. See, it's the same thing. So they don't have real enlightenment circuitry. Whatever that might be. Which is hard as the universes are. The it is, the isn't is the it. So what does that tell you in terms of what people have in the traditions in terms of expectations of teachers?
I can only speak from my experience, but it seems like there are, well, my expectation from a teacher, what brought me here was I expected and I realized that I needed to see living demonstration of realization, to have interactions, to have a relationship with knowing. And I'm not sure if that's a pervasive expectation. I think that I've seen enough of the expectation of self-validation via some sort of dharmic or religious path enough times to say, okay, that's, at least pervasive. It's out there. Lots of people enjoy that idea. That's what maybe got struck down first and most forcefully here was like, no, not self, not you. It's not about, being inflated by this process. This is the opposite.
You're being deflated by it. The deflation process, let's say. Well, that's being native on the ground. Just on the ground. Basic earth. Basic human. Basic sun altogether. Sun, earth, human, heart. Sun, earth, human heart. No big deal. Basic. No ego involved. Tree to grass. Earth to moon. Moon to sun, solar system. To galaxy. To universe. To source. And beyond.